Hi guys, welcome back. Now, next phase is going to be the system development. So once we design the system, then we are looking at either 4A or 4B. The 4A means develop the system by ourselves, in-house development, remember. 4B means configure the system by the outsourced one. So now we look at the in-house development and 4A development phase. What is the most important thing we should do in the development phase? The most important thing we should do in the development phase is the testing, because next phase is going to be implementation. So before we implement, we should try to check whether there are any errors, any bugs within your system. And if we find anything, bugs, any problems, any issues, we try and solve it before we use the system. That's very important here. So for this system testing, we have to come up with a plan. We are not simply just input whatever the things to check the output of a system. So we have to come up with a plan, test plan, and then we have to do the testing. So there are different, we have test plan, testing, and final acceptance test. Okay, now we look at one by one. Okay, so what is the unit testing means and the integrated testing means? So system may have many modules linked together. So unit testing means just test one module, look at the input and then give an input and then observe the output and see if the system performs correctly. Then we look at the integration testing. Integration testing means two systems as interaction. Interaction means basically output of module 1 could be input to module 2. So that is called interface between module 1 and module 2. So what we do is we look at the interface between two modules. That's what we call integration testing. And finally, we do have the entire system testing, whole testing. So what is entire system testing? What we exactly do when you do the entire system testing? Think about it. Okay, entire system testing, what we do is we do different kind of ones. First one we call recover testing. That means you are purposely crash the system and see whether how long, how fast, how easy that you can recover the system, because remember, system can crash anytime. So that would happen. It's a matter of time, so that we should make sure that we can recover the system faster. Security testing means how good security features within your own system. Okay, so in this case, what we do is we do some called penetration testing. We might hire some ethical hackers to let them to hack your system and see how good your system's information security means. So that's what we should do before we roll out, before we implement system. And the volume testing means we input a lot of data to the system. Sometimes when we put a lot of data to the system, the system may malfunction. So that's what we call volume testing. And then the next one called stress testing. Stress testing means concurrent users. Many users access system exactly at the same time. I can tell you one simple example. A few years ago, here in Hong Kong. So we had a beauty pageant that was live telecast to one of the TV station, and the winner was selected through the viewers vote. So that means people who vote, they look at the beauties there and then they could vote. Wonder what happened? After some time, system totally crashed because there were so many users trying to access system at the same time. Then system could not tolerate that. So that means before they roll out, they have not done stress testing properly. And then we have another testing called performance testing, in other words called benchmarking. That means benchmarking means we compare two similar systems in terms of performance and see whether how good, how bad it is, right? Okay. The next thing is, the question I'm going to ask is, which is the most important testing out of this all? The most important testing is final accepting testing. So all done, test planning, unit test, integration testing, and system testing is done by IT people. But final accepting test has to be done by the users. Remember, users are the most important people for your system. So they are the one who's going to use the system. And if they don't like it, your system is going to try very soon. So final accept test has to be done by the users to make sure that users are happy with your system, so that system can be used for a long time to come. Okay, right. So basically we know that the configuration is for outsourcing. So that means when the system is being built by someone else for us, or when we buy a package, sometimes certain controls may not be implemented what we want, what our information system auditor wants. So basically in the configuration phase, what we do is make sure that it's been configured when we buy a package, it's been configured to best for us, and whatever the controls been added for our organization. So that's our focus on configuration.